The LPGA Tour announcing today a new co-sanctioned event with the Ladies European Tour in partnership with Golf Saudi. The Aramco Championship will take place April 2nd through 5th, 2026 at Shadow Creek Golf Club in Las Vegas and feature a $4 million purse. The 120-player event, the first tournament on a U.S. tour with backing from Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. This from new LPGA Tour Commissioner Craig Kessler. The Aramco Championship, part of the PIF Global Series at Shadow Creek, reflects exactly where we're headed in building the global schedule for our tour. We often talk about routing courses and purses, and this event checks every box. A spectacular West Coast setting, an iconic course, and a purse that continues our momentum in raising the bar for our athletes. We also recognize that partnerships like this build on the LET, that's Ladies European Tour's long-standing collaboration with Golf Saudi, and PIF can help strengthen the women's game on a global scale and elevate opportunities for our athletes. You know what time it is? It's time now for a Golf Today Roundtable as we welcome in our friends of the show, GolfChannel.com senior writers Rex Hoggard and Ryan Labner. And Rex, let's start with the LPGA Tour news. The first big splash by new commissioner Craig Kessler, the first event backed by the Public Investment Fund and Golf Saudi that's going to happen in the U.S. as far as being co-sanctioned with the U.S.-based tour. Your reaction to the news?
It is worth pointing out sort of the difference in mentalities when it comes to the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, being involved with men's golf. It was so contentious from the very start with the launch of LIV Golf versus what it's been like, at least for the LET, the Ladies European Tour, as you pointed out. I've joked on numerous occasions that maybe if it wasn't LIV Golf, if they'd have called it the Aramco Series or something else, that maybe it would have gone down a little bit easier. I know that's not entirely fair, but you get the idea there. But there has always been a lot more collaboration between the LET and the Public Investment Fund and what they've created on that side of the pond. And they brought it over here a few times. And now that you have this collaboration that includes the LPGA Tour, I think we're going to see more and more players gravitate towards those types of series. Now, optimistically, I will look at this from the male perspective and point out that if you can have the LPGA Tour come up with some sort of collaborative effort with the Public Investment Fund, which this is, perhaps that paves the way for the PGA Tour. Keep in mind, they're strategic partners. So there's a lot of talking going on there. This seems like the logical next step, and you can see how the ladies embraced it. I don't know if you can make that jump to the men will do the same thing in the future.
Yeah, Rex, I do think it is a good case study, and this particular circumstance makes a lot of sense for all three parties involved. I mean, LPGA players, including Nelly Korda, the biggest American draw on the LPGA, had already been participating in the Aramco Series, so it makes sense to sort of loop that back in to a full-fledged LPGA event. The increased purses, the building on the global nature of the tour, and obviously from the Saudi PIF side, it really helps to be integrated into the U.S. marketplace. And so I think it's an entirely different set of circumstances with the state of women's golf in this country and the LPGA in particular, but I do think it could potentially serve as a case study for what's possible if there's potentially more partnership and more collaboration.
Rex, I want to go back to that statement made, which I 100% agree with, in terms of, you know, could this mean for the PGA Tour that maybe there's a desire? And I think we both know there's different set of circumstances between the LPGA Tour and the PGA Tour in terms of sense of urgency as it pertains to probably revenue, obviously leading the way with LPGA Tour here. But when we talk about sense of urgency with the PGA Tour, LIV Golf and PIF, does it feel like there's just no sense of urgency now more than ever for the PGA Tour to have a desire to work with LIV Golf?
First things first, Jordan, I have to give you a chef's kiss. No one has channeled your Eamon Lynch, your inner Eamon Lynch, better than you on this show today. And someone needs to take his place while he's out. So congratulations on that front. No, I don't think there's any urgency at all on the front of the PGA Tour when it comes to these negotiations. Hey, I like that. I don't think there's any urgency at all on the case of the PGA Tour, to be honest with you. And they haven't had a conversation since the White House meeting that included President Trump earlier this year. It gives you an idea of how stalled these negotiations actually are. If you're looking at it from Brian Rolap's point of view, the CEO of the PGA Tour, why would you have any urgency? You already have a lot of money. You were flush with cash thanks to SSG, the private equity firm that signed on with the PGA Tour. You have a lot of momentum based on what happened this year. You look at the ratings for all of the signature events. You look at what he wants to do with the schedules. You look at what happened in the major championships. There's no reason at all for the tour to come running back to the table right now. LPGA Tour was entirely different. They need that investment. They need that influx of cash, and they need to look globally, much more so than they probably do right now. So that makes total sense. But if you're Brian Rolapp, I understand why you're dragging your feet on this. There's other things that he's concerned with, primarily his product and his product alone.
Lev, I know how much you love surprises, so let's play a game of fill in the blank here. And I just want you to end this sentence. LIV Golf's move to 72 holes is
complex, I would say. You know, I do think it's certainly ironic that, you know, what it was supposed to be a revolutionary idea has resorted to the same old thing that is tried and true and been proven over decades. That said, I do think it is a nuanced situation. I do see positives and negatives in this situation. Positively, if you're looking at this for LIV, I do think that the move from 54 holes to 72 holes does bring at least a semblance of legitimacy. It's now easier to extrapolate the results. It's easier to contextualize. I think it's easier for the players to prepare for major championships, for instance. Playing more competitive holes tends to suit the top players. And so I think a Jon Rahm, in particular, would be very happy with this move. And I think you could see sort of the dominant season in 2026 that a lot of us expected when he jumped to LIV Golf a couple of years ago. Negatively, though, I think it's pretty obvious as well that this is a league without an identity. This was a league that was supposed to be disruptive. It was supposed to be fresh. It was supposed to be innovative. It was supposed to be 54 holes. It was supposed to be built on speed and urgency. What is it now? It's essentially just a league of limited tournaments, limited fields, playing in far-flung locations for an outrageous sum of money. Does the team race, if 54 holes is off the table, and that was supposed to be a central tenet for LIV Golf, is the team component now the next thing to fall? Because that has not resonated. That has not turned into massive television audiences. That is something that has always been sort of clumsy since the outset of 2022. If you're LIV, I think the best play is not to lean into the team component over 72 holes. It would be to try and rival the DP World Tour as the preeminent global circuit. And so, yes, a lot of people are being caught up in the official World Golf ranking race. Rory McIlroy pointed out, I think somewhat correctly, that the players who have been starved of world ranking points over the past couple of years are going to be so far down the rankings that they would have to do something extraordinary even to be relevant for these pathways that are going to open up for the major championships. So I think LIV is really at a crossroads trying to figure out exactly what it is. It is not a team-driven league as much as it wants to be. If I were LIV, I would try to expand the rosters and try to make this the preeminent global tour.
If I had to fill in the blank, I'd probably say window dressing on this front, because this is a twofold conversation. One, if you're making this move, if LIV Golf is making the move to 72 holes because of their quest for world ranking points, it doesn't make any sense. Rory McIlroy is 100% correct. 54-hole events were a problem. They were not the problem when it came to the reason why the World Golf Ranking did not grant that request for world ranking points a few years ago when LIV initially made it. This is all about what the players want. Jon Rahm has been pretty outspoken. You look at what Hatton talked about, that initially when the players were asked after that first season, they were asked in a questionnaire if they wanted to move beyond 54 holes, and I think only 3 players agreed to doing that. I think this is a bit of a paradigm shift. Players are realizing that you've watched what Jon Rahm has done really the last 2 years. Maybe 54 holes of team golf in shorts with loud music isn't really the best way to prepare for major championships. And you have so many players out there that still want to compete in major championships, still want to be relevant on that level. And I just don't think this was ever going to help with the world ranking. But if you're doing this just to appease the players, I get that.
Rex, I kind of want to stay with my Eamon Lynch kind of persona today. And in doing so, let me ask you about Rory and his comments. We've heard him throughout the last few months, especially after his massive win at Augusta, but his schedule and how he's going to tailor it more to his liking, playing in places where he wants and kind of eliminate some of these PGA Tour events to chase majors. He's certainly deserved the right to do that. As you look at the PGA Tour, do you think they should be concerned that this could open way to maybe other players with success as they gain it to kind of earlier than maybe anticipated start to say, hey, I'm going to do somewhat of the same?
I think this is my turn to channel my inner Eamon Lynch on this one, because I'm going to point directly to SSG and point out that they're probably the ones that listened to those comments this morning from Rory McIlroy and got a little nervous about that, because you have one of your stars, maybe the star on the PGA Tour, at least as far as moving the engine when it comes to ratings and attention and visibility. It's telling everybody and essentially the world that, nope, I'm probably not going to play nearly as much on the PGA Tour. He was pretty clear, saying that he's not taking those events off the DP World Tour schedule. So yes, I think if you're SSG, if you're the folks at Fenway, you're going to be a little concerned because there isn't a lot of motivation. Look what Tiger Woods did, especially late in his career. He never played more than 15 events. Actually, he was closer to probably 12, 13, 14 events. I'm sure that's where Rory is going to end up going.